Well, Christians should be educating themselves about the teachings of Islam. They should be resisting efforts to impose Islamic law, resisting the use of Islamic law in German courts, which is already happening, and trying to wake up their fellow citizens to the magnitude of this problem. Christians ought to be at the forefront of this effort because of the teachings of Islam mandating the subjugation of Christians and teaching that anyone who believes that Jesus is the Son of God is under the curse of Allah, and that anyone who believes that Jesus is divine is an unbeliever. They should understand that these things are not just statements of religious competition, but statements of declarations of an intention to destroy Christian societies, destroy post-Christian societies, and to deprive Christians of their basic rights. And to understand that no amount of outreach or negotiation, compromise or concession is going to change that imperative. The reason is that in Islam there is a fatalism that discourages initiative, that people say these things will happen inshallah if God wills, and they essentially accept passively the situation that they are given because it is as Allah wills. Also, there has never been a work ethic in Islam. There's never been an idea that there was anything worthwhile or commendable about doing work on this earth. As a matter of fact, Muhammad mandated, as the Quran mandates, that Muslims must fight against unbelievers, subjugate them, and make them pay this tax, the jizya. And the jizya is the source of the livelihood for the Muslims. The Caliph Umar explained that, one of the first successors of Muhammad, that the tax that the Muslims collected from the unbelievers they had conquered would be the source of the livelihood of the Muslims. Muhammad established that right from the beginning. When he moved to Medina, he didn't tell his followers, now start farming or open up shops. He told them, raid the caravans of the unbelievers. And so the source of the livelihood of the Muslims throughout Islamic history has been the industry of the unbelievers, not of the Muslims. That's why jihad has to continue, so that the prosperity of the Islamic states can be established by the wealth of the unbelievers. And so this is why Islamic societies are so impoverished these days, because they have bled dry their native unbelievers and have not been able successfully to carry out jihads against new groups of unbelievers who would be able to finance their return to prosperity, with the notable exception, of course, of the oil wealth of the Saudis, which functions in the same way, and of the other oil-producing states. But the idea of jihad is essentially and fundamentally economic, in order to foster the growth of the Islamic states. And this is what we see happening in Europe as well, that vast populations of Muslims are coming to Europe ostensibly to work, but so many of them go on the dole because they consider it their due that the unbelievers support them. Act before it's too late. Wake up, realize that you are threatened, and that you have to fight to save what you have, and that fighting to defend your home and your family is not against the teachings of Christ. Self-defense is not against the teachings of Christ, and that this is what is called for these days, that the world is not all kumbaya and let's hold hands and sing songs and everything will be fine. The world is a harsh place, and these people are coming to kill or enslave you. Well, they have to undertake a variety of initiatives, as I explained before, to resist Islamization, to resist the assertion of Islamic law in Germany, and to insist that everyone who is a citizen should have the same rights and the same laws, and that there should be no special rights for special classes, which is exactly what Islam mandates for Muslims, that Muslims have rights that the non-Muslims do not enjoy. And so they are trying to establish that in Germany and elsewhere. This is what the Christians must resist. It takes a variety of forms. They have to fight against the legal initiatives, the cultural and societal initiatives, the efforts to establish in workplaces and in schools special accommodations for Muslims, halal food, the introduction of special break times at factories for prayers for the Muslims, that the non-Muslims can't take those breaks, and so on. I see these things happening in America. I expect they're probably happening here also. And this is the kind of thing that is an assertion of the principle that where Islamic law and Western law and practice conflict, it is the Western law and practice that has to give way. That's what Christians should be aware of its implications, aware of where it's leading, and they should be resisting it now. Well, the main thing is to raise public awareness right now. And so, yes, they need to write to the papers, try to alert, but not just write letters to the editor, but try to alert reporters to what's going on, to educate them about the implications of it, to hold public rallies, as we tried to yesterday, to raise awareness of this problem, to challenge their public officials and their elected representatives to be active about these issues, and to exhort the people in their churches not to vote for public officials who are compromised on these issues. The only defense we have is the truth. We don't have the government, we don't have the media, we don't have popular opinion. They have infiltrated every aspect of society and in a very sophisticated way have succeeded in advancing their agenda. But nonetheless, what they're saying is false. And so if we keep saying the truth, more and more people will see that it is indeed the truth. And that's the only thing that I can offer in that regard. We can never give up and just keep going.